Welcome back. This is episode 202 of the Veterinary Business video show. In this episode we'll hear why you might be better off if you simply stop doing what's keeping you busy, and we'll be reminded that you're running a business, not a creche for immature adults behaving like children. We'll learn the importance of retaining the clients you already have. We'll hear how to convert price inquiries into appointments, and I'll offer you my quick business tip for this episode. I'm John Sheridan, and this is the video show from Veterinary Business. Are you busy in your career in veterinary practice? Of course you are, especially if you own the practice or if you have a senior management role. Someone once said that being busy is cool. It shows that your skills are in demand. It's a vanity thing, and it's good to be busy. Telling your clients and colleagues how busy you are is a jolly good way of reminding them how important you are, isn't it? After all, you know deep down that the whole practice would fall apart if you were sick or if you unexpectedly took a few days off. The downside is that if you're feeling at the mercy of your clients and the endless demands of the business, you're en route to a potential burnout. Staff morale will deteriorate, service to clients will decline, and there's a danger that the business could start to fall apart. So maybe busy isn't so good after all. Maybe eliminating busy means you'll have time to think about what's going right and what's going wrong in the practice, and how you might develop both personally and professionally. Here's a clip from Derry Llewellyn Davis, the strategy man, who suggests you might be better off if you simply stop doing what's keeping you busy.
So for most entrepreneurs, the biggest issue is they just need to stop. They need to take a pause, take a breath, and actually reset some of their business. Sometimes the whole business, sometimes an element of their business, but they need to take that pause to do so. And I've created the space for them to take a day out of their hamster wheel of a business to reflect, to pause, to consider, to get back to the really core questions, which is very difficult for them to answer themselves, in a safe environment, surrounded by other business owners just like them, which is actually a big part of the experience. Is you realize you're not alone. You realize that it's not just you. It's not just your problems. It's not just you that's got issues with talent and cash and everything else. It's everybody else in the room, which can give you a whole different level of confidence and certainty in your business. But this one day is a day to transform. It's a day to take you back to why. We've got to take purpose apart. We've got to go deep on that element. But it's not just on the day. We get to set you to work right now. Because I like to hit the ground running. If you probably guessed from me, I'm a bit punchy. So I want to get to the point quickly. There's a whole heap of pre-work to be done before we get to the day, which will get you into purpose straight away. There's a whole video series which will get really under the hood. So you come to the event, and the way you actually introduce yourself in the event, around your table, and it's nice round tables, it's a respectful event, this is for business owners, okay? You introduce yourself with your purpose. You will say, this is what I'm passionate about. This is for the service and value I bring to the world. This is the market opportunity I serve. Here's my cash purpose and why it's important to me. And this is the life I intend to live. Now that's a pretty cool way to introduce yourself.
Now let's see who's on the video show Soapbox. Practice managers tell me that HR, human resources issues, take up a huge proportion of their time. I recall a number of occasions in client practices when persistent and petty disagreements between individual members or groups of employees were having a major impact on the smooth running of the business in general and service to clients in particular. Here's a clip in which Mark Opperman reminds us that you're running a business, not a creche for immature adults who behave like children.
A lot of managers spend a lot of time dealing with inter-conflict among employees and team members within the practice. And in fact, I feel that a lot of managers and even practice owners, a lot of times, are trying to be almost a mother, father, and get involved in and resolve these problems among employees. And many times, I think they probably actually make it worse by doing that. Let's say that I have two people that have a problem, and it is, an interpersonal thing. It's not to do with a hospital policy or protocol, but it's more probably a personality issue between the two. I'll call them both in my office, and I will say to both of them that, the two of you are affecting my work environment. And there's obviously something going on between the two of you. Personally, I don't really want to know what that is. That's not my concern, but I do want to let you know that it is affecting my work environment and that's no longer going to be tolerated. And what I would ask the two of you to do is go out to lunch today. I want the two of you to talk about that issue, hopefully resolve that issue. When the issue is resolved, you may come back. And if the issue is not resolved, I don't want you to come back. And you'll be amazed at what happens. More times than not, both of them will come back. The issue is resolved. Everything's taken care of. I've had cases where one would come back and not the other. And I've even had cases where both of them haven't returned after lunch. And you know what? To me, that's absolutely fine. We spend too much time trying to fix people and deal with those problems rather than actually manage our team members. So instead of trying to be their mom and their dad, how about you empower your team and say, look, you guys are professionals, you are adults, there is an issue between the two of you, I want you to resolve it. Once you do, come on back to work, but we're not going to tolerate that any longer within our work environment.
Now for a tip from the top in the business world of veterinary practice. Do you know exactly how many new clients you need to register in your practice every year just to maintain your current client database? If, for example, you have records for, say, 800 active clients per full-time vet in the practice, you'll probably need to register at least 4 new clients for every vet working in the practice every single week just to stay where you are. Does every member of the practice team know the appropriate numbers for your practice and the contribution they each have to make towards that total? Wouldn't it make sense to put much more effort into retaining the clients you already have? Here's a clip in which Brian Conrad offers some advice.
Client retention is vital in the success of each of our veterinary clinics. Each of us plays a big role in assuring our clients stay put with the way we provide services and products to their beloved family members. I'm all for new clients, and I need them to continue to grow. But more importantly, I want to keep put the ones my clinic already has. It might come as a surprise to some of you, but I know of clinics around the country that rotate through 25% of their client base a year. That means 1 out of every 4 clients will not return. That should make us all sick to our stomachs. So it's up to you to watch and listen. Unfortunately, history dictates that clients will generally go quietly. This doesn't help us. That just means they won't show up the following year. They've moved to the clinic down the road. They might not always be vocal, but they are throwing you hints. Lots of them. It's up to you to catch on. Watch the body language in the exam room. Do they seem agitated, forced into services, or even confused? Say something to the doctor if you pick up on these signs. When checking out clients and you ask them, have all of your questions been answered today? Do they stumble? Do they hesitate? This is another clue that we haven't completed our job. Tune into your client's expressions and mannerisms, and you will find that you can be proactive in creating a memorable and returnable client experience.
Now for my quick business tip for this episode. Continuing the theme of building and retaining that all-important practice database of active clients, here's an important clip from Wendy Myers of CS Vets. Wendy suggests some practical steps your team members can take to convert price inquiries into appointments.
At least 4 times today, a pet owner will call your veterinary clinic and ask, how much are shots? The number one reason why people call a veterinary hospital for a price is because they have no point of reference. As a veterinary professional, your job is to make the question of price irrelevant. The reason they're calling is because they're actually looking for a relationship. They want to find a veterinarian who they can trust, whether their pet needs preventive care, is sick, has a medical emergency. They want to find a new veterinary home. So how should you respond to how much are shots? Well, answer the question with more questions. What the caller is actually saying is, I'm so excited, I just got a puppy. I'm looking for a veterinarian who really cares, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So I want you to ask questions such as, how old is your puppy? Because you're going to have very different medical recommendations for a 12-week-old puppy versus a 12-year-old dog. What breed is your puppy? This will help you tailor your vaccination protocols, because if it is a breed that's going to be taken to a groomer regularly or go hunting, you're going to recommend particular vaccines. Where did you adopt your puppy? Your recommendations may vary based upon whether it came from a shelter, a breeder, or was a stray. Which vaccines has your puppy had, and when were they given? This helps you recommend the appropriate timing of when the next vaccines need to be administered. Have you seen any fleas? Where is your puppy scratching? Which flea, tick, and heartworm preventatives have you started using? Chances are nothing if it's a brand new pet, and then you can recommend the appropriate product that your hospital offers. Has your puppy had an intestinal parasite test to check for worms? Use very client-friendly, easy-to-understand language, intestinal parasite test instead of fecal. Has your puppy been neutered? Do you have any other pets at home? Because some diseases and parasites may be contagious to other animals in the home. Do you plan to board Buddy, take him to dog parks, or go to areas where he may interact with other dogs? Now that you have the answers, you can educate the caller about needed services and products. You've now established a trusting relationship, and you've taken the complete emphasis off of price.
So what's my quick business tip? Well, it's this. First, recognize the need to understand the pet owner's underlying objectives in making the call and your own business objectives in responding. So answer the question with more questions to begin the process of building a trusted relationship, and switch the emphasis of the conversation away from price and towards care, concern, and value. Well, that's about it for now. I'm John Sheridan, and this has been another video show from Veterinary Business. See you next time.